What's going on YouTube? This is Chaos-Reighn, and in this video I'm here to wrap up the farming guide and or farming session of the 20 odd maps that I ran. Now I got a little bit bored after like the first 10 maps on I shot, and there was a bit of an issue with certain modifiers on the Expedition just being a little too annoying. I didn't really die, it just took a little longer than I cared to, so I decided to hop on Flicker Strike, which is just a good all-rounder. Then I died a couple times on Flicker Strike because I put horrible mods on, but yeah. So, for the record, I did do all 20 maps with Polished Scarabs, Chisel, Alked, and Vald. However, I decided I'm not going to put any sack frags on, and I'm going to leave it as low investment as possible, just Chisel, Alked, Val, and placing everything I need to do just like that into the thing. Um, the results aren't amazing, I'm not going to lie to you. However, again, I'm using Polished Scarabs, and the Gilded Scarabs do add a whole lot of value to it, and a whole lot of just overall power to it. So, let's go ahead and go over what we made. So, right here, we made 2 logbooks out of 20 maps. Again, this is Polished Scarabs. Logbooks are relatively expensive in standard. They're about 40C, it looks like, 40, 40, 40C. Now, if I were to go to the Polished Scarabs, just as an example, let's go ahead and look at the Scarabs here. Polished Expedition. You know, we have people. Their prices are all over the place right now. Like in 10 for 2x, 80 for 16x, and 200 for 100x. 133 for 403x. Yeah, this is standard. Unfortunately, the prices are skewed and horrible. However, I do know that I have been I have been picking up a lot of just items overall. Hold on, way too low. Cool. I've been picking up a whole lot of items overall, as far as scarabs off of players for a lot cheaper, and I can farm them myself or use the scarab recipe. I know in League they're about 1 chaos or less each. That being said, if you think about that, it's like, we'll just call it like 2 to 3C each, times 20, about 60C. So 60C, these alone pay for that adventure. We also got some sextants, and those are pretty good because, when you're just generally farming Alk, Val, Go, it's pretty nice to just get a little bit of sextant so you can kind of juice up maps in the future. And getting 12, getting 12 is also pretty solid. That means if I actually put sextants on, I probably would have gotten them more. Now, along with that, we did get 31 stacked decks, and we got a couple of the embers and the scattering reports. Our currency here, we didn't get a whole lot. I know the currency in standard is also pretty expensive. 5 to 1x on these, which is about normal. I usually, when I go for them, I sell them for about that, but I have so much, and I don't really need the currency. Scrap metals are extremely cheap. You can get right here like 100 for 2.5x. That's because you usually run out of the other material before you can run out of the scrap metal. We have the Estragalis. Estragalis are also pretty expensive. None are priced on market, and people just snag them up, obviously using them with Gwynn. And we got 4 of the burial medallions, which are obviously used to get all of the other currency and more logbooks. So, if I were to make a guesstimation, I might have spent, including the 20 maps, which I over-sustained maps. I just didn't, add the maps in here. For some reason, it just didn't occur to me. I think I got around 40 maps back, including a couple influenced maps and stuff like that to run Guardians. I got 2 logbooks out of 20 Polished Scarabs, and I got 31 stacked decks. I actually stopped putting the essence in because I forgot to put the affinity on. I was just like, alright, forget it. It's already in my tab. And then, of course, we got a couple unmakings, which is pretty solid because the unmakings will actually help us respec the tree later once we're done with this farm and move on to the next. So, if I were to guesstimate, I would say I made about a 5 to 10 exalt value, maybe. If we go right here, this is about 1 exalt. We'll call this 2.5. We'll just say like all this is like maybe 3. We'll say 4 here, and then I believe it's like 40 to a X right now, so we'll say 5. Like 5x a value. I know these are insanely expensive in standard. I'm not going to even value those because they're just part of it. And, you know, obviously the bubble gum, we'll just call that, you know, 10C for everything. So, yeah, we'll say 5x value, and at a total investment of about 60 chaos, I would say it is highly profitable to do Expedition. And obviously all of this extra currency and the essences that I, again, forgot to put in are, you know, calculated in that. I will say that I was expecting to find more logbooks, but I didn't use any sextants, anything like that, so it's kind of also expected that I didn't find more logbooks. I don't know. It's both a I wish I did, but I didn't, you know what I mean? It is what it is. So going into whether I think this is, you know, profitable, so on and so forth. Well, as someone who has ran Expedition in the past, it's not necessarily only about the well, the reroll and all that other stuff, right? It's about the stuff that you get that you can't no longer list and trade anymore. So what am I talking about? Well, if I go over here and I actually enter my heist locker, we can kind of see we have a lot more currency and stuff like that to spend on our, you know, ROG and stuff like that. So just as a good example, if I go to ROG now, we have 239 of his big currency. His big currency being the rarest one, the one that goes out first. I'm pretty happy with that. That's 1 to 2 items fully crafted that I can finish, or more depending on my luck and if I even use that specific currency. Now if we go to Gwynnon, we are already capped on the first 2 things, and that third thing is the most important thing, that we actually have so much that we can start buying both headhunters, leather belts, and heavy belts. And just so I can kind of, you know, show you a little bit of content on video, I decided to do this, and, you know, maybe I get that whole streamer RNG. Probably not, but, you know, it's a pretty solid investment in doing this whole farming. Obviously, if you just need one insane payout, and if you like, you know, if you, let's say you get something like Mage Blood that pays for literally everything that you need in this league and next league and so on and so forth. Mage Bloods in standard are extremely expensive, and as such, you know, getting a Mage Blood in standard, oh, I just missed a heavy bout, is a very, very good thing to try and aim for. Obviously, it might not happen, and and you just have to be willing to kind of accept that. If you do manage to pull one, great. Honestly, great. I haven't had very much luck with Gwynnon at all since the actual league that she came out, unfortunately, and I find that to be a little sad, but it is what it is. So one thing I will say is that I kind of like getting these belts because I still have a little bit of the Tainted Mythic Orbs from last league, and you never know, we could hit something really amazing. Actually, I gotta do this real quick, and then I gotta turn on affinities so you can just drop these off, and then I gotta go find the tab with all my tainted currency. I think it's this one. No. This one? No. 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 This one for sure. Okay. And, you know, you never know. You can Tainted Mythic Orb something. I only have 17 left, so it's not like I'm actively trying to go for these, but, you know, if it happens, it happens. This is actually the second Gor's Girdle that I gotten, so it's kind of cool, I guess. Ain't worth anything, but it is what it is. Let's go ahead and just place this in my dump tab, and on top of that, we're going to go ahead and do ROG, Denig, just so you guys can kind of see, you know, what he's like. If you can tell here, we actually got a fair amount of his smaller currency, which is the stuff that runs out first when you're rerolling him. And as you see here, only one reroll, and we get a logbook. On top of it, we get a Black Scythe logbook, which is going to translate into more currency.
Interested in something else, are you?
Just buy more of this real quick. basically all you do right here is you go until you are out of that small currency, because the moment you are out, you can't really buy anything. See, you can't buy those. So we just do that, and then now we have more Gwinnett rerolls, so we go straight to Gwinnett. And that's basically what you do after a farming session. This is 20 maps worth, and I think it's pretty fun doing this, you know what I mean? Like, not only do you have the chance to get something amazing, you also have the chance to maybe craft something cool with a ROG, and that can be very, very profitable for you. Oh, looks like we're out of the value on that end, so we're just gonna do that, bam, bam, and that's all she wrote, you know? Like, we did what we could and farmed what we could, and honestly speaking, I'm gonna say it's definitely worth it. If I were to say, you know, price per hour, obviously, you know, we didn't make a whole lot. I spent a fair amount of time doing these maps. However, I did take a break sometime along the way to eat dinner, and I just kind of, you know, was like, all right, well, whatever. And so if I were to say, I think including all the maps, including like the essences, you know, maybe we're looking at 8 to 10x in the span of 2 hours, 5x an hour total value at the cost of like 60 chaos. And I feel like that's more than fair of an estimate, but you know, that's also totally up to you on what you think the value is and what you think it should be worth, so on and so forth. Anyway, that's me, Exiles. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. Now, I will say, instead of going hard on the next farm of Expedition, I'm going to make a switch and go into Heist. So my next farming is going to be Heist, and why it's so valuable still. It's still one of the more crazy methods to make currency that you can do. And on top of which, I'm going to go over something else, which is running low tier maps, and is it still viable running them? If so, why? So without further ado, this has been Chaos-Reighn. I hope you guys enjoy my videos, and as always, stay cool and have a good one.